right, the last part of the 6.07 Terrible Conflict lesson is the graded assignment that deals with the Gettysburg Address. So please make sure you go to Lesson Resources and get your Inside the Gettysburg Address assignment. Or you can just, of course, get it from right here or whoever appears on your page, but have that assignment. And you'll see that there are excerpts on your assignment, which you're going to answer questions about. But before we do that, I want to go back here to our textbook and read through the Gettysburg Address. It's a very powerful speech, one of the top speeches in U.S. history of all time. I think it's worthwhile that we read through it. The Gettysburg Address. On November 19, 1863, at the dedication of the Battlefield Cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Lincoln's 2-minute dedicatory remarks followed a 2-hour speech by the Honorable Edward Everett, a brilliant orator and former congressman, senator, governor, and president of Harvard University. Coming after so long a speech and with the crowd of about 15,000 eager to depart from the cemetery, Lincoln's remarks seemed destined to the back pages of history. But the nation and then the world responded to his eloquence. Edward Everett wrote to Lincoln, "I wish I could flatter myself that I had come as near to the central idea of the occasion in 2 hours as you did in 2 minutes." All right, here's the speech. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. And oh, I'm getting teared up again. I can't. Oh. Okay, let's go back to the assignment then. Oh, so powerful. Okay, inside the Gettysburg Address, 6.07 graded assignment. It is the Gettysburg Address that is a remarkable speech. It is only 272 words long and took only 2 minutes to deliver, but it had a profound effect on the nation, both then and now. Principal Lincoln was not even a principal speaker on November 19, 1863 at the dedication of the Gettysburg National Cemetery, just 4 months after the battle there. The keynote speaker was Everett, a renowned orator who talked for over 2 hours. Later, Everett wrote to Lincoln to say that I should be glad if I could flatter myself that I came near as to the central idea of the occasion in 2 hours as you did in 2 minutes. Just what was this central idea? Analyze each of these excerpts and see if you can arrive at a central idea. All right, the first question. We're going to look at this excerpt and answer this question. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Question number 1. A score is 20. Calculate the number of years in 407. Then go back from 1863. What year is Lincoln referring to? So, what you need to do is do the math. With a little bit of math and history, isn't that great? So calculate the number of years in 407. So we have 20 years, if score is 20, times 4. What does that equal? 80. And then and 7, so we have to add 7. So that equals what? 87. Right. Now we have to go back from 1863. Whoops. So 1863 minus 87 equals what? What is it, guys and girls and ladies and gents? It's 1776. So the year that Lincoln is referring to is 1776. Okay. What document did Abraham Lincoln believe provided the foundation for the nation? Okay, now you have to go back in history a little bit. What happened in 1776? There was a document that was created that had something of this nature, that all men are created equal, life, liberty, and happiness. It was signed in 1776. If you answered the Declaration of Independence, you are on the right track. What did Lincoln believe to be the key premise of the nation that was conceived? Okay, I'm not going to give you the rest of the answers. We're just getting you started out here. But now let's think about this. What did Lincoln believe to be the key premise of the nation that was conceived? You have to read the last sentence very carefully in that excerpt, and you should be able to arrive at your answer. Number 4. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. What does Lincoln say is the challenge of the war? Testing whether that nation can long endure. So think about what long enduring means. Something will hold out for a long time, and that will help you arrive at your answer for number 4. Number 5, what does Lincoln feel is the purpose of having the cemetery serve as a final resting place? We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we do this. So why does he feel this purpose of a cemetery serve as a final resting place? Dedicating a portion of the field. They gave their lives that the nation might live. It is fitting proper that we should do this. They gave their lives so the nation might live. Okay, that's a good hint to what the answer might be. Number 6. Why does Lincoln say that we cannot dedicate, cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground? And then what is the supposed purpose of the event? But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. Why does Lincoln say that? And when that is a supposed, why does Lincoln say we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground when that is the supposed purpose of the event? Okay. The brave men. The brave men who already consecrated it far above our power. Okay. That's a hint to what you might get at for number 6. Number 7, what does Lincoln think will be remembered and what will be forgotten on this cemetery dedication? The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. What is Lincoln's hope for the nation? Number 8. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they have fought here, have thus far so nobly advanced. What was their unfinished work? What was that they were trying to do? What's the point of the Civil War? end slavery, and to also do what? He didn't mention anything about slavery, note that please, but was he talking about holding the nation together? Looking at the speech of the whole, what does Lincoln not mention? What's something he doesn't mention at all? That's for number 9. Number 10, the Gettysburg Address had long-term impacts similar to the Declaration of Independence. And why was that? Is it have a long-term impact because it was carefully written and edited? Does that make something have a long-term impact? Does it give a long-term impact because it was delivered as a powerful speech? Is just a powerful speech alone going to have a long-term impact? Were they both lengthy explanations of freedom? Is it really talking about freedom necessarily? That's debatable. Both express clear moral ideals. Think about that and arrive at your answer for number 10. And then the last part, imagine you are a Northerner listening to the Gettysburg Address. How does it make you feel? Oh, sorry, I'm having problems here. How does it make you feel? Sad for those who died at Gettysburg? Encouraged to continue to fight the South? Excited about the future of the nation? Explain your reaction to the Gettysburg Address. And several sentences, please explain your reaction and how would you feel if you were a Northerner listening to the Gettysburg Address. Point of view there is important, that you're from the North, not the South. Okay, so finish the assignment, submit it to the 6.07 Dropbox, and hopefully you'll earn the full 75 points for this assignment. All right, let's go back. Anything else? Oh, one more thing. I will be going through this graded assignment more in depth in the Class Connect that we'll be holding for this 6.07 graded assignment. So if you had any questions, be sure to make it to the Class Connect as well, where you can get more help on this assignment. Or as always, K-Mail, Skype, whatever you need to do to reach out and ask your teacher questions. Thank you.